Men are not launching into fatherhood. How many of you are dads? You got kids? Amen? We love kids. I love being a dad. We honor children here, and our tagline is this: we build men up to what? Bless women and children. We want your wife to be able to say, he's a blessing. We want your kids to say, that's my dad. Since 1968, the number of children without a father in our nation has doubled to 18.4 million children. 18.4 million little kids tonight go to bed that don't even know what a dad is. They haven't seen one. In addition, the majority of children born to women ages 30 and under are born out of wedlock. They don't have a dad. Less than half of adults grew up with their mother and father, biological. Here's what happens. I know we're in a presidential campaign. If anybody was even peering out the sphincter, they would be running on one issue: how to raise up more men so we could have more fathers and less government. That's the shirt, by the way. More fathers and less government. Because at the end of the day, the question is, well, how do we reduce crime, and how do we increase prosperity, and how do we protect women? And every answer is, get a man connected to God and let that man act like a son of God instead of the son of the devil that he is. That's the answer to every issue. The best way to change generations in the future is to get the husbands and fathers activated in the lives of their wives and kids. I'll give you the proof. 85% of teens with a behavioral disorder have no father. Have you seen a teenage boy who doesn't have a dad? What's the difference between a 13-year-old boy who doesn't have a dad and a terrorist? No, I'm asking. I don't know. I can't tell the difference. What happens to boys, especially that grow up without a father, all of a sudden they get a little facial hair and their voice drops and their testosterone flows and they're taller than mom. That's where dad has to kick in. Otherwise, he's going to be a behavioral problem. That dad ultimately needs to take all of that masculinity, that strength, and channel it and direct it toward good causes before he becomes a problem. In addition, 70% of adolescents with drug and alcohol addictions have no father. No father. In addition, 90% of homeless and runaway children have no father. Children without a father are 5 times more likely to be in poverty, 9 times more likely to drop out of school. The one thing that changes someone's life is the presence of a dad. We're not even talking about a good dad, a Christian dad, a spirit-filled dad, a humble dad, a helpful dad. We're just talking about a guy with an X and Y chromosome who can fog a mirror. If that guy's just in the house, it makes a difference. It just makes a difference. All of a sudden, the gals that are growing up, the daughters, they're a little more protected. The boys, they're a little more directed. Income goes up. Mental health goes down. Abuse and trauma goes down. Addiction goes down. Grades go up. Let me tell you this. You cannot build a government big enough to fill the gap when the men are missing. That's the biggest issue we have. That is the biggest issue that we have. How many of you are single guys? One day you're like, I'm here. I want to be a Christian, marry a girl, have kids, be a husband and father. How many of you guys aspire to that? It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, and it's the best thing you'll ever do, because you'll find the greatest joy when you sacrifice to bless and provide and protect for your own family. There's something called the General Social Survey. It's considered the gold standard for sociological data work. All of this is in the book. But they summarize saying this, quote, "A good marriage and family are the greatest boosters of happiness, far more than a pay raise, and it's not even close." Those of us who are married and have children will tell you it's hard, but it's awesome. Do you know why married men make more than single men? Because they have to. You wake up, your wife's like, we're all hungry. I got to fix that. You're like, hey, I'd like to sleep together. Well, before we make more people, you need to get more food. So it becomes an incentive for a man. Okay? But what they find, many men are told, you know what, once you make enough money, once you achieve enough status, once you have obtained your career, once you have put yourself in a secure position, then go find a family. And what I would tell you is, you won't achieve those things without a family, because that family is your motive to make money, to achieve, to compete, to endure pain, to get over hardship, to pick yourself up when you've been knocked out, and we'll all be there. Because your wife and your children are depending on you. And I'll just tell you, men, I love my wife with my whole heart, but we've been to hell and back. When we got married, I didn't know she was a sexual assault trauma victim. We had to work through that. She didn't know that this was my personality, so we had to work through that too. I couldn't imagine being married to this. If I didn't have to live with me, I wouldn't live with me, but I'm stuck with me. 30 some years later, Grace and I have worked through our stuff, and by that I mean my stuff, but we've worked through some stuff. Here's what I'm happy to tell you, man. I am very happily married. I love my wife with my whole heart. I really do. Somebody asked me recently, they're like, how are you and Grace? I was like, we're a 10 out of 10. We're close. We love each other. We enjoy each other. We're best friends. I love being a husband. I've been faithful to my wife. You need to know this about your pastor. We met on March 12th, 1988, first date, 17 years of age. I have nothing to report since March 12th, 1988. Nothing to report. And we've got 5 kids. I got 3 boys, 2 girls. I love being a dad. Finally, life has a reason. And how many of you men are a girl dad? How many of you didn't even know you could love like that? Like you love your wife, but then you get your daughter, you're like, what is this? I'm having a tea party, like in my coveralls. And how many of you, your little girl, she puts her hands on your face. Hi, Dad. Gives you a kiss. Love you, Dad. There's nothing like being a dad. Because you know why? God's a father. When you become a father, you understand the father heart of God. I just think about it. I'll share a story that comes to mind. I'll never forget. It was one of those magical days of my life. We were at Disneyland. Some of you have heard the story. Back before it was woke and you could go there. But anyways, we were at Disneyland, or Disney World, and I had our youngest daughter, and then my son was born. My son was like 1 or 2. Now he's, next gen pastor, which is wild, and he's a dad. And so my daughter was like, Dad, I want to go swimming. So I took her out to the pool late at night, and I'm tossing her in the air, and she's swimming over and giving me a kiss. Throw me again, Dad. We have fun. I bring her back. She stands up on the bed in the hotel room, and I put the white towel, and I'm drying her long, dark hair. She looks at me, and she goes, Dad, will you marry me? I thought, oh my gosh. I said, no, honey, I'm not going to marry you. I said, but one day, a wonderful man is going to marry you. She said, this is a true story. How will I know who he is? I said, I will tell you. I will tell you. So, yeah, I'll tell you. And now that I think about it, I just verbal process a lot of these, as you can tell. But I got to officiate the wedding right here. Right here. I'll tell you guys, man, being a dad is the best, hardest thing you'll ever do. God will open parts of your heart and your soul you didn't even know you had because you've never needed them before. There's something wonderful about saying, that's my wife, those are my kids, they sleep indoors because of me, right? They eat because of me. They know about Jesus because of me. They feel safe because of me. They're a blessing to me, and I'm here to bless them.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.